I want to share with you, first thing off this evening, a dream that I had one night. I seem to get taught a lot of things in dreams and write about them in the books Today I Begin a New Life and The Observer's Chair. But in this dream, and Paul did a great job of finding some pictures for us, I'm walking down this hallway, and it was a green hallway, and there was a door at the very end. And I became aware as I walked down this hallway that I was either walking toward the door or I could turn and walk the other way. There were no windows, doors, no trap doors, no safety doors. I was either walking forward or I was walking backward. When I got to the door at the end of this long hallway, I opened it and I stepped out onto a glass floor. Now, it wasn't quite this spectacular, but I remember there being 4 pillars holding up the glass floor. Now, I'm heavily influenced by Stephen M.R. Covey in his book, The Speed of Trust. And I saw these 4 pillars and I recognized them. The first pillar was intention. That I became aware that in my relationship, my intention is that Ramona and I are joint heirs. We're partners. That there's equal and several liability, which means that each one of us are totally responsible for the success or failure of a relationship, yet we have equal voting power. Now, that's a legal concept, but turning a relationship into a partnership is bringing that same concept into the relationship. So first was intention. Next was integrity, that you walk your talk. You absolutely walk your talk. That everything you do in your private life, I remember being in the film industry for a number of years and traveling, and quite often in that industry there's a statement that says 500 miles away from home everything goes. And I thought, I know what goes, and I know Ramona will know. She'll feel it. I want to honor her whether I'm 5,000 miles away or whether I'm sitting next to her. I don't want that to be anything different. So that's integrity. The next was ability. We want to gain ability to have a stronger relationship, and part of our conversation tonight is to increase our ability regarding the concept of commitment. That we gain this ability, that's ability to provide, ability to communicate, ability to trust. We increase that ability. And the fourth pillar was results. What are our results in the relationship? Those were the 4 pillars of trust. And beyond that glass floor, there was a golden staircase, and it had cute little statements on it. You know, a kind statement, a little note, a sweet hug. And it was going up to a room that was called intimacy. And it was a bedroom. And intimacy comes at so many levels. And I share with guys that sexual intimacy begins when you wake up in the morning. Not when you come home or not at 8 o'clock after you turn off the football game. It begins in the morning with how you behave and how you talk and how you act. That's a critical piece of intimacy. So commitment, trust, and intimacy. The 3 pillars that support a great relationship. I'm going to turn to Ramona and see if she has any thoughts about that. Any comments?
I love the visuals that are on the screen. They just bring so much to my mind of our relationship and the time we've spent together, the things we've been through. Paul kind of alluded to some of those, and they just have always been founded on the foundation of the commitment, the trust, and that just flowers into intimacy, a feeling of wanting to share, of being in a safe place, just the only way to live.
I remember, and Paul alluded to it, in 1989, Ramona and I lost $1 million. Millions of dollars, and had $1 million of debt on our back. Now, it doesn't matter the amounts. It's all relative. We lost everything financially and owed $1 million. And I would spend the next 10 years working to earn the money to pay that back. And Ramona ran the family. I mean, just really ran the family to free me up to do that. And I've thanked her numerous times because during that crisis, I never heard her ever say anything negative to me. I want you to hear her say or share with you and this isn't about us being the ideal couple. I just want to share with you these very private, sacred, important pieces. Would you share, Ramona, with all of those who are with us tonight, why you didn't say anything negative to me through that process?
Well, early in our relationship, since I met Dave, I knew that he was a man of action, and whatever he was going for, he was going to achieve. And with that as the foundation of our relationship, of course I knew he was the guy for me. In fact, when he gave me an ultimatum that I needed to take some action to commit, I just could not see my life without him. So that was relatively easy to make that commitment. And then, so when it came to further on in our life, when this obstacle came of us losing everything financially, then I just relied on that fact that I knew he performed in the past. When he's committed to something, he knows how to make things happen. And the bottom line was, I knew that the best thing I could do would be to support him by being positive and showing that feeling of knowing how capable he was. And I think that was the secret in our relationship, is that I was there to lift and build him in every aspect of our relationship. So when times were tough and I knew he was under so much stress and pressure, that I wasn't adding to that. I was helping to relieve that in any way that I could.
And I share that with you, not to boast about a relationship, but to unlock a great secret. That people perform at their very best when they feel validated, they feel valuable, they feel important. And that's how Ramona always made me feel. She trusted me, and so I wanted to be my very best. What a great secret in a relationship. Now, I want you to ponder this. We call our couples experiences the totally committed retreat. So, totally committed. That's why we're talking about commitment tonight. When you ponder the principle of total commitment in a relationship, this first pillar, what comes to mind? Sometimes there's conversations around wandering eyes. There might be a pornography addiction that's occurring. And so total commitment would be that I make this decision, this singular decision, that this is the person who gets all of my passion, who gets my total commitment in terms of my love. Why would I look at another when I want to give her all that I have? I want her to be all to me. So she's my queen in every way. So think about that in terms of the temptations we see, in terms of some of the movies and some of the magazines and some of the internet sites. And what happens when we wander? In the book I wrote called The Observer's Chair, I talk about this concept of counterfeit forms of mental pleasure and how they can destroy a person's own self-esteem, but as importantly, they destroy a companion's self-esteem. They just know. They may not know all the facts. They can just feel it. And if they were to discover what it is, it's, why am I not enough? There's a great word that a friend of mine taught me, Kevin Hall. It's called Genshai, Genshai, Genshai. It means never make anyone feel small. So part of total commitment is I would never want my companion to ever feel small. She's everything, everything. Sustaining that passion, wanting to find ways to lift and build and create that emotional health that we would want to have passion for one another. Finances, it can be in that area, that we make those decisions together so that we don't make a decision that causes challenges and then there's blame or shame or frustration in that area. Total commitment is really a singular decision that this is it. This is it. This is who I'm going to invest my life in. She's going to invest her life in me, and we're not going to have any screen doors, trap doors, Facebook conversations with high school boyfriends, girlfriends. This is a total commitment for our life. Now, in terms of commitment, there's one other area that I want to share with you tonight. What is the number one cause of divorce and the most difficult addiction to battle in a marriage. I've heard for most of my life is finances. Well, after having the privilege of coaching with hundreds of couples, having 105 couples come to the cabin for these totally committed retreats, I've discovered something. It's rather simple. The number one cause is the need to be right. It comes from the ability to think effortlessly. And if both husband and wife are effortless thinkers, they're going to get really attached to their ideas. And I said to a couple once, we can blow apart a marriage based on the correct topping for a pizza, pepperoni or sausage. And her response was, the wife's response was, no, actually it was a bagel. Actually it was a bagel. These thoughts cannot determine the seriousness of the conversation. What a great gift we give to a spouse when they feel strongly about something. We set aside our need to be right. Step into their world and listen. Find good in their idea, knowing that 96% of the time, their idea is attached to their self-worth. I find good in Ramona's idea. I'm finding good in her. Down come the walls. Out pours the cooperation. And then we get to talk about the idea. And frankly, if mine's better, it probably will rise to the top in a common sense conversation. And as importantly, men, when you find good in your wife's idea, and Ramona's assessment, her intentional creation assessment is scary accurate and scary clear. Whenever I don't listen, I wish I would have. Because she's really smart. And she's very practical and very logical. And I'm very visionary. She brings me back to the earth. I want to find good in her ideas because, frankly, when I do, I find out they really are good ideas. That's the number one cause of challenges, the need to be right. One of the things we want to do is learn how to think differently. We are raised in a society of competitiveness. And the last thing we want to bring into a relationship is a competitive spirit. This is about we're on the same team, working on the same thing. That is total commitment. And commitment is all about communication. Communication with what you do with your eyes, communication what you do with your mind, communication with what you say, communication on how you look for the good in a person's idea. Let me give Ramona the last word on this. Any thoughts?
Oh, communication. That's so key. Those of you that are YouTube fans, I'm sure you've probably seen It's Not About the Nail. If you haven't, look that up. It is quite revealing and funny about what it means to have somebody truly listen to understand, not to fix the problem. And it's the sexiest thing that a man can do is to really have his wife, his woman know that she's understood and that she's been able to share and process her thoughts in that way of communicating. And he's not just dozing off or distracted, but he's really intently doing his best to listen and understand. And that's so powerful. And Dave is very masterful at that. We've worked on that. He has nurtured me and brought that out in me to feel, to explore and find out those things that are on my mind and made a safe place so that I can share those thoughts and get in touch with them myself. It's been a powerful thing to have that kind of communication.
Thank you, sweetheart. So we think about being totally committed. Can you feel the energy that you'd want to have in a relationship where everything in that relationship is absolutely 100% committed on the success, on lifting and building and encouraging and intrinsically validating a companion? This is where we want to be in our relationships. I want you to see this picture. It'll be up here just in a second. There it is. This is a picture we took at a couples retreat in a winter time. In January, we're going to do another totally committed retreat. We'd love to have you join us if this is something that might be important for you. I wanted to invite, and Paul, thank you for for arranging for Amy and Clint Duke to join us. We call these friends for life. When you spend 3 days in intentionally creating special moments with each other, this isn't couples therapy. This is couples coaching. This is about creating experiences that you can build on to create great relationships with good relationships, and to mend wounds and to forgive and to move forward. Amy and Clint, thank you for joining us. Dr. Eric Inger and his wife, Dr. Eric and Inger, thank you, Eric Lane and his wife Inger, and Julie and Bernie Timms from the Carolinas. We're so grateful that you're with us. Julie, let's put you on the line first, if we would, Paul, if you could take her off of mute. Julie, share with us a little bit of what it was like for you in making the decision to come to our Bear Lake cabin. We did yours in a summertime. Would you share with us a little bit about your experience, please, you and Bernie?
Well, hello.
Hey.
The decision to come, or what we felt when we were there?
Why don't you share what you felt when you were there? I think that would be really helpful.
I think it was magical. It was so much better and so much more fulfilling than we could have ever dreamed. And the friendships that we made there will be lifelong. And in fact, we all still talk to each other. And I mean, Bernie and I, when we went, we thought we had a great relationship that didn't need to be fixed, or, you know, we just thought we had a great relationship, and we just absolutely went to the next level and came back closer than we've ever been. I just can't say enough good about it. I'd go again.
You did. Julie, without saying anything personal, one of the things we try to do during this retreat is have individual time together. And one of my precious moments I'll always remember, and again without going into detail, was the night that Bernie and you and I sat together for a couple of hours and just talked about your assessments, things you want to do with your relationships. We had a couple really inspired moments. Is there anything that you or Bernie would like to say about that evening we spent together, just the three of us?
Hi, Dave. Hi, Ramona.
Bernie.
Hey. Yeah, absolutely. Those special moments that we had together up at the cabin there, and feeling that I was in a truly safe place, and that's what was so special about the retreat to the cabin there, the couples retreat, was you made everybody feel so safe and so comfortable to open up if they wanted to, and if they didn't want to, that was fine. And I so respected that. So to feel that comfort level, and then you stepping into our world and understanding where we were coming from, and seeing some of the issues that we may have been dealing with that we probably didn't even know that we were dealing with, and understanding that, it was a very powerful, very for me especially, a very moving part of the whole retreat.
Thank you so much. It was such a joy to have you there. And you've been such a kind and supportive couple since. We thank you so very much, Bernie and Julie. It's interesting when people come that not only do they work on creating a great relationship, many of them, such as Bernie and Julie, actually lent their love to others in the group. And it's interesting, whoever decides to come, whoever does, it's just not a mistake. Everybody plays a role in blessing everybody's life. So thank you for being a blessing to everyone's life, Julie and Bernie. Let's have Eric and Inger jump on the line. Dr. Eric is a chiropractor, just an incredible healer.
Mute on their side.
I'm sorry?
They need to unmute themselves.
We need to have you unmute yourselves, Eric and Inger. We've got you muted. If you could unmute yourself. There you are. Very good. Could you share with us a little bit of your experience? I've had the privilege not only with the couples retreat, Eric and Inger asked that we coach together and do couples coaching after, and we're in our, I think it's our 9th or 10th week of coaching together, which is also awesome. So I get to spend time with them every week. Eric and Inger, would you share a little bit of your experience of being with us up at the Bear Lake Cabin?
You bet. Hey, good to hear from everybody. Good to hear that South Carolina accent. I've missed that for the last few weeks. And that London accent. You know, for me, I think Julie said it, and Bernie may have also said it. We try to do something every year that strengthens our relationship. And when I had heard about this, I think Ramona can attest. I think I called her at 5 in the morning. I think I got the email sometime around midnight that you guys were opening up a couples retreat. And I was amazed somebody actually answered the phone at 5 to make sure we got in, because it was so limited and it was something that we were really excited to do. Not because we felt like we had any struggle. We've been married 26 years and thought our relationship was just incredible. I couldn't love anybody anymore. I know my wife couldn't. She treats me better than anything in the world. But like Julie said, you get up there and you know, there was experiences for me the night at the campfire when you really, truly realized where you're coming up short and where you're spending your time. And I was talking to a friend the other day that spent a couple $1,000s on a root canal. And I wonder sometimes, you know, we'll spend the money on our teeth, but how much do we invest in the most important thing that we have? And so for us, it was just a tremendous experience. You know, the friendships were incredible, but just to be able to be a better husband, and I think I said, you leave there wanting to be a better husband, father, friend, son, daughter, and it was just an incredible experience. You know, you were in a whole different level. I'm going to stop talking so Inger can talk.
Well, hi everyone. I just kind of second Eric. I think it was amazing. I never even thought we had any problems either in our marriage. I thought we had the best marriage ever. But it just strengthened us so much. Being with Dave and Ramona, they're the best ever. I just love them both. They are my heroes. You couldn't be in better hands. Nobody could. You guys are the best. And being with such amazing friends, I feel like we got, you know, like the best little family right there, you know, with everyone. I'm just grateful we all brought together and be able to be together and bond and be friends forever, like Julie said. But I'm so grateful for Dave and Ramona for, you know, taking the time and touching people's life and heal people that have a problem. And our marriage has become even greater. And I feel like I'm a better mother, and he's helped us, you know, so much with everything, and in our business too, everything. I couldn't say enough words there. I mean, there's no enough good words to say. You guys are the greatest, and you truly are an example in life. You guys are such a, I don't want to say, well, I should say role models. You guys really are. You guys set the perfect example, and I'm trying to be a little bit more like you guys, and I see how much you love each other and raise such a beautiful family, and I know me and Eric is trying to kind of follow you guys' example. You guys are unbelievable. You guys are the greatest. I am so grateful. This was my best vacation. I mean, to be able to be with you guys and all the thrills. I got to drive so fast with a four-wheeler. I was like a crazy person. My husband later told me he was really scared, by the way. But it was so fun and loved it. And the boats and the spa night, everything was perfect. And Ramona's good cooking. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was a dream come true. My heart is so full, and I still think about it. It was the best thing ever. And so I will always be grateful for you too. You guys are truly the best example ever.
We thank you. I have to show everybody. It's a little embarrassing, but Eric and Inger sent us these two dolls. Press one of them, sweetheart. There you go.
Honey, I love doing the dishes for you.
Woohoo!
Oh, you're watching a ball game. Just stay there on the couch, and I'll whip up some snacks.
I keep these by my desk now. Mr. and Mrs. Wonderful. We have to live up to this now, sweetheart. Yeah. So how fun. Thank you, Eric and Inger, for your love and support. Amy and Clint. Clint is is a partner in a law firm and a specialist in patents. Amy, an amazing human being. What fun energy. Clint and Amy, you're on the line. Could you share with us a little bit of your experience? And I have to, without telling anything, Clint, I won't say it out loud. You might want to. Eric alluded to it, that on Friday night, we go on an ATV ride in the summertime, build a campfire, and sit around and talk about how guys can blow up trust in a relationship. In the wintertime, you see the picture of the snowmobiles. We do an all-night snowmobile trip. We leave like at 7 o'clock and come back like 2 o'clock in the morning. We go on a guided trip right to the top of, if everything works out well, St. Charles Peak and down the Big Trough, and it's wild and crazy in the dark.
Now that's the guys that are doing that. The women are home in a nice warm cabin, chit-chatting and doing facials and fun girl stuff. So sipping nice warm tea.
So that's the pattern. We do an activity on the first day. Then we do snowmobiling. We do snowmobiling so that we can get all of the commitment and trust issues out to have conversations. So the time in the jacuzzi when we get home that night. We have a wonderful day on Friday. Friday night, the women have their esthetician experience. We get to have our snowmobile experience. Then Saturday's all about intimacy, where we learn some couples massage techniques that are appropriate. We have a wonderful dinner and a dance together. It's a great experience. Clint was so hilarious when we're out there around the campfire. Guys say and do things they only do with guys, so I'll leave it at that, Clint, but I'll never forget a couple of those moments in that fire, sitting around that campfire. But Clint and Amy, it's all yours. Would you share a little bit of what it was like to come up and take on your marriage in terms of commitment and trust and intimacy, please?
Absolutely. Clint, do you want me to go first? We're actually not together. He's out of town. But we originally came...
I'm just out of town for business.
Oh, yes, we are together.
Still together. Don't worry.
Clint, thank you for taking the time, because I knew you were out of town, and we expected Amy, but we weren't sure you'd be able to make it, so thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, you go first, Vic.
Okay, thanks. So it's just so fun to hear your voices. We miss you all. It's been far too long since we've seen you, but we originally came to the couples retreat because we just felt like we needed something, and we weren't sure what it was, but, you know, we've been married for 15 years. We had 5 kids, of whom took a lot of our time, and so we didn't really have anything wrong, but we just needed a little jump start, and so we wanted our marriage to be stronger, and so we decided to come. And I'm telling you, our weekend at the couples retreat was so worth every penny and every sacrifice it took for us to get there. I mean, we came away completely recommitted, reconnected, and very much in love again. On our first night there, Dave sat us down and talked about his cabin and how it was come to be known as a healing place. And we very much came to learn how true that was. And it's hard to describe how or why that happens, but every bit of the whole weekend was just magical. And Dave and Ramona orchestrated everything just perfectly. Both, you know, they catered to us as individuals and us as couples, and it was heavenly and couldn't have been more perfect for us, or heaven sent for us at that time in our lives and our marriage. And so that's what else do you want to say, babe?
I think it was perfect timing for us. I'm generally not, well, and Dave and Ramon and everybody that was there with us, I was kind of the skeptic, because I've never been one to go to motivational speeches or read self-help books. I kind of was out of my element, and it was interesting. I wasn't looked down on as being the skeptic, but some of the things were changed or put more into, you know, a skeptic's vocabulary. And even though, like Amy said, there wasn't anything really wrong, I don't know that that's exactly true. We knew that our marriage wasn't the strongest it's ever been, and it was a good chance for us to identify things to work on. But the biggest benefit that I saw was basically being taken care of by Dave and Ramona, because we'll go on trips together, you know, for honeymoons and things, and we'll get away from our kids in our lives for a time and try to focus on each other. But when we're the ones planning the outings and worrying about transportation and worrying about food and stuff, it's harder to focus on the relationship without getting distracted and without, sometimes entering more tension or more confrontation into a time when you're supposed to be coming closer. So the fact that it was conscious and expressly stated to us so many times, don't worry about this, don't worry about that, you're focused on each other. I think that was the best part for me. Oh, and the campfire, I don't know, not being in the self-help, I don't know, being kind of a bootstrap Generation X skeptical person, when things got a little, I don't know if they're serious or too intimate for me, I would make a joke and try to lighten things up. So and I don't think that was bad all the time. So the one time was when it came to my turn, and everybody was saying the big life-changing things that they were going to do to help their relationships, and it was very quiet and I don't know if serious is the right word, but respectful. It came to me and Dave said, "Clint, what are you going to do to better your relationship?" And I said, "Well, I think I'm going to stop farting in bed," and that was all I had. But I did have something else after that. But it was kind of funny when we were on vacation this summer. We were sitting in this really horrible restaurant with a view of a souvenir shop, and the souvenir shop had this pair of underwear sitting in the window that on the back said, "I heart to fart." So figured I had to get those just to remind us of that.
Thank you for sharing that. I'll never forget the moment because it was getting kind of serious, all the things we can do to build trust in a relationship, and we appreciated the light humor in that kind of a moment. We want to thank everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
Amy and Clint. Anything you want to say about these three couples?
Oh, my goodness. I do miss all of you. Come back and come snowmobiling with us. So many sweet, sweet memories of just what each one of these couples brought. You know, Dave and I really focus on bringing value to this retreat, but it truly is created by the individuals that are there. It's just so powerful, the love that's felt, the openness, the amazing service that you give to each other and to assist us in our mission to help to assist people to really see the challenges that they're facing that they may not even be able to name. And I would also like to mention how committed Dave is to the success of you as a couple. This assessment that you will have taken before you come is so accurate and revealing in places you'll be astounded, but places that Dave can go safely if you're willing to share with you and open your eyes and become aware of what those points are that you may not even know are keeping you from being totally committed or trusting each other in such a way that it's so powerful and makes incredible life changes through that opportunity.
Thank you. Well, we want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Thank you, Amy and Clint and Eric and Inger and Julie and Bernie. We're so grateful for you taking time out of your schedule tonight to share your experience, accepting that invitation to do so. Thank you all for coming. If you take nothing else away from tonight other than commitment, trust, intimacy. Total commitment fosters trust. Trust, the ultimate expression of trust, is intimacy. The world kind of gets this mixed up a little bit, like it's a sporting event or something. What a wonderful thing to have intimacy based on commitment and trust. And just know that the greatest challenge in a marriage is the need to be right. And being able to step back and set that aside and find good in a person's idea and lift and build and encourage and practice Genshine, never making anyone feel small. If you have any interest in taking on your relationship, if you've got the need to come uncorked, because sometimes we get emotionally constipated with life, seems to be the theme for tonight, right? The next totally committed retreat is January 28th through February 1st. It's a Wednesday evening through a Sunday morning. You come to Salt Lake City. However you get here, you can drive to our home, fly to the airport, we'll pick you up, and from that moment on, we take care of everything. You have your own private suite at the cabin, the food's provided, the activities, the snowmobiles, all of the facials, everything is part of this arrangement. You don't have to worry about anything. Then we'll bring you back Sunday morning in time to catch a plane or other commitments that you might have. The cost to do this is $2,995 for both of you. That's for both people to come and be a part of this. That includes all the time you'll spend with me in terms of your assessment there at the event. If that is something you'd like to discuss in more detail, write this down. Contact@intentionalcreation.com. Contact@intentionalcreation.com. Or you can call the office tomorrow during normal business hours at 801-298-4014. Just write those down. We can share with you when deposits are required and final payments, any other arrangements, special food considerations that might be necessary. Just send us an email, contact@intentionalcreation.com, or call 801-298-4014. We'd love to have you be a part of this event in January. I do mention we have another one scheduled in mid-March, and there'll be another one in the summer when we can have warmer weather. But we love the snowmobile trips, and I love the one especially at night with the guys. That's just so fun, sitting around that campfire in the snow. But thank you for being here with us tonight. May you feel what we're trying to accomplish here. May you feel the energy and the love. Paul said, this is a labor of love and my favorite coaching activity of all things we do. Just a couple, 3 times a year. We pull 5 couples together and help you get to the next level in your relationship. We're thankful. Thanks for being here tonight. We wish you the very best in your relationships. And if we can serve you, send us an email or call the office. I'm going to let Ramona have the last word.
What an amazing gift you could give each other by coming together this time of getting away and exploring and becoming aware of amazing things in your relationship just to build on. I hope you'll join us. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.